The following is a feature presentation of SVGN, the Sports Video Game Network.
The Atlanta Falcons and the Detroit Lions are considered by NFL fans as two of the most cursed franchises in the league, but now they have to play each other on a potential road to see who can get to Tecmo Super Bowl 59. One team has to stay, the other team has to go. Will it be the ankle biters of Detroit or the dirty birds of Atlanta? We're about to find out. Welcome everybody to the fourth of our Wild Card Weekend games here on SVGN, the Sports Video Game Network. Hello everybody, I am your host and broadcaster, Joe. Wow, this season has been exciting, and this Wild Card Weekend has provided no shortage of excitement, especially when it comes to who is going to get through. You've seen 3 teams get through, but there's one spot left in the divisional round. Who will it go to, Atlanta or Detroit? That is the question on everyone's minds right now. Detroit started out this season so well. They were doing amazingly. They started out with a record of 7-0, but in their final remaining games, they only won 3. But that was just barely enough to get them a playoff spot, the final playoff spot. Dallas fans, I'm sure, are seething. Meanwhile, Falcons fans are lucky because they managed to win the NFC South over their most hated rivals, the New Orleans Saints, in what was definitely a back-and-forth season between those two. They were both jockeying for position to get that NFC South spot. The Falcons have had 3 separate 3-game winning streaks this season, and that might have been enough to get them into the playoffs. There is a lot that could go wrong here and a lot that could go right for both of these teams. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. I'm looking over at how these teams have done. The Lions are in the top 10 for points scored so far this season. Meanwhile, the Falcons in top 10 for points allowed. They haven't really done all that much. So this might be a battle of offense versus defense, all things considered. Both teams very close to each other in terms of point differential. And offensively, the Falcons been struggling. A lot of people were wondering what they were thinking with getting Michael Penix Jr., but when they already signed Kirk Cousins, but it seems to have worked out at least decently. While the Lions have a great offense. They're in the top 5 for offensive yardage this season. And part of that is due to their passing offense, which is in the top 10. The Falcons, the 3rd worst, sadly, in terms of passing offense, all things considered. However, when it comes to rushing offense, the Falcons have that, although the Lions do have some good rushing offense as well. Defensively, that's where the Falcons really shine, though, because the Lions have let up quite a few yards. The Falcons have the best defense in terms of yardage allowed this season. They're in the top 5 for passing defense, whereas the Lions have actually struggled against the pass. And meanwhile, in terms of rushing defense, the Falcons are number 2. Lions do have a top 10 in terms of passing defense. So this might be a battle of unstoppable force in the form of the Lions versus a movable object in the form of the Falcons. Gonna be very interesting to see how these teams play. The Lions, though, very much banged up. They're definitely gonna need to hope that they can work with what they've got. However, some good news for Detroit on the injury front. They are getting quite a few weapons back. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are both returning. And meanwhile, they've got some depth back in the form of both Craig Reynolds and Sione Vaki. They will be healthy in this battle with the Falcons. Will the Lions come out on top and move on to the divisional round, or will Atlanta get their first playoff victory since the 2017 season? We'll find out shortly. We're going to take a small break, and when we come back, we're going to take you down to Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta for the final Wild Card Weekend game. And here we are at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The Lions will call heads. It is indeed heads. They will elect to return this one. Youngwei Koo will be kicking it off. And that should be Craig Reynolds back to return that ball for Detroit. So here we go, the final wild card playoff game. Reynolds going to take it from about 2 yards deep in his own end zone. Going to get up to 15, 20, 25, and down at the 28. Let's take a look at that Detroit Lions starting offense. Jared Goff in his 9th year with the NFL, in his 4th year with the Lions. Meanwhile, right behind him, he just got back the team of Sonic and Knuckles in the form of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. For wide receivers, he's got Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams to throw to. And if he needs to throw to somebody else, he's got Samuel Laporta at tight end, who's lining up on the line alongside Frank Ragnow, Graham Glasgow, Kevin Zeitler, Taylor Decker, and Penei Sewell. Dan Campbell in his 4th year as the Lions head coach. And meanwhile, the offensive coordinator is Ben Johnson, a good head coaching candidate for those looking for a head coaching vacancy to be filled. 1st and 10 for the Lions. Goff in shotgun formation. Going to try and run forward with it. Taking it himself. Who knew Jared Goff could run? He's got a first down and more as he's down around the 46 of the Lions. Great work there by Jared. 1st and 10. Goff dropping back, running out of time. Got to get this one off, throwing it over to the left for Sam Laporta. Incomplete. There were some black helmets in the area. Let's take a look at some of those black helmets that are on defense for the Falcons. Zach Harrison, David Onyemata, and Grady Jarrett are the defensive linemen. Lorenzo Carter, Troy Anderson, Caden Ellis, and Matthew Judon, who the Falcons acquired from New England over the offseason. They're your linebackers. At the corner positions, you have A.J. Terrell and Mike Hughes. And at the safeties, you've got Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates. Jimmy Lake, the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, and special teams coordinator is Marquise Williams. 2nd and 10 for Detroit. Goff in shotgun, trying to run forward with this one. He's going to get taken down by Caden Ellis for the sack for 4 yards. The Falcons, by the way, the only playoff team we didn't have in a game of the week this season. As Goff going to get sacked yet again, this time by Grady Jarrett, taking him back to make it a 4th and 22. So, Lions got a punt. Jack Fox will be punting it. Avery Williams will be back to return this. And he'll be taking it from the 10-yard line. And he'll be stopped at the 15. Let's take a look at that Atlanta Falcons starting offense. Kirk Cousins, he got injured near the end of last season with the Vikings. He's come to Atlanta with a big contract. Behind him, he's got Bijan Robinson, the second-year runner out of Texas, as well as Tyler Algier, who's in his 3rd year with Atlanta. The wide receiving core for Cousins is Drake London and Darnell Mooney. And Kyle Pitts, the tight end, will be lining up on the offensive line alongside Drew Dahlman, Matthew Bergeron, Chris Lindstrom, Jake Matthews, and Caleb McGarry. Raheem Morris in his 1st year as head coach for the Atlanta Falcons, and the offensive coordinator is Zach Robinson. 1st and 10 for Atlanta. Cousins stepping back, looking for somebody open, throwing for Darnell Mooney, incomplete there. Let's take a look at that Detroit Lions starting defense. Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reader, and Alan McNeil are the defensive linemen for Detroit. Alex Anzalone, Amik Robinson, Jack Campbell, and Marcus Davenport are your linebackers. Rookie Terry Arnold out of Alabama is one corner, the other being Carlton Davis. And for the safeties, you got Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. Aaron Glenn in his 4th year as the Lions defensive coordinator, and special teams coordinator is Dave Phipp. 2nd and 10 for Atlanta, man in motion. Cousins going to hand this one off to Algier. And he's going to fumble the ball! And it's bouncing around! Who's going to get it? And it's the Falcons that recover it. Chris Lindstrom, the lineman, gets it. And he's going to bring it to about the 46. That could have been a disaster for the Falcons. Instead, they come up with it when they need it. Toss for Robinson, runs along the near side. Still going. And they take him down at the 39 of the Lions. This Atlanta offense isn't great, but they can be pretty good if you let them. Cousins going to get this one off for Bijan Robinson, who's going to get taken down at the 14-yard line. And that is unfortunate. Bijan Robinson, one of the best young players in the league right now, especially a running back, is injured. So they're going to go with rookie Jace McClellan out of Alabama to replace him. 1st and 10 for the Falcons. McClellan going to get the toss. Let's see what he can do in his first snap. McClellan going to fight for extra yardage as he gets the first down to the 3. He was short of it at first, but he fought for it. 1st and goal. Cousins stepping back, looking for somebody open, throwing to his left for Drake London. Touchdown Falcons in the corner of the end zone. And Drake London gets a touchdown to put the Falcons on the board first. How about that from Captain Kirk himself, Kirk Cousins. And Koo's kick is good, 7-0. Cousins has been a bit of a journeyman quarterback. Started out being the 4th-round pick by Washington the same year they drafted Robert Griffin III as Reynolds take this from the 2-3-yard line. Made his way into being starter, then went to Minnesota, where he spent quite a few years. Goff going to hand this one off to David Montgomery. And Montgomery going to get taken down. We saw Montgomery's former team, the Bears, lose on Saturday against the Eagles. As Gibbs going to get handed this one, doesn't get very far. And the combination of Gibbs and Montgomery are Sonic and Knuckles, as they call themselves. Montgomery going to get the first down here. Just enough for it. Might have gotten a little bit extra. I think he needed 2, and he might have gotten 2.5. Gibbs going to get tossed the ball. Gibbs running along the near side, coming back towards the middle and taken down after a gain of 9 on that one. 2nd and 1. Goff handing it off to Gibbs. Gibbs got the first down and a little bit extra. So, 1st and 10, Detroit. Goff tossing for Gibbs. Gibbs running along the near side, fumbles it, but he fumbles it out of bounds. But only after a gain of 2. 2nd and 8. Goff dropping back. Gonna try and throw this one to his left. Leaping grab by Sam Laporta. And he's got the first down and more in Atlanta territory down to the 35. This is gonna be a fun game. Bit of a slow one, but it's been going pretty well. Goff getting run out of time as Lorenzo Carter there with the 11-yard sack. Taking him back to about the 46. 2nd and long. Gonna give it to David Montgomery. And he is going to get about 9 on that one. So 3rd and 12. Man in motion in front of Goff. Looking for an open man. Got to find somebody. Plenty of time, but he's running out of it. Going to throw it to his left out of bounds. Didn't look like there was anyone in the area there, but he had to get it out somewhere. So the Lions going to go for the field goal. This is Jake Bates. 55-yard field goal on the way, and it's good. 7-3 game here. And Atlanta will get the ball back. Avery Williams will return this. And he'll take it from about the 6-yard line. Good mix of offense and defense from both teams as that's going to be a fumble! And it's bouncing around. Who's going to pick it up eventually? It goes out of bounds. At around the 21 as well. I was bouncing around way too much. I'll say 1st and 10 at the 22. And Algier not going to get too far. Sent back 4 yards. 2nd and 14. Cousins stepping back. Got to throw this to his right for Darnell Mooney. And Mooney, look at this man go. He's into Detroit territory before he's down at the 45. You can't underestimate Kirk Cousins. He's been in this league long enough to have seen almost everything. Man in motion for Cousins. And off to Algier. And Algier going to get the first down and a little bit extra as he's down around the 31. So, Cousins has quite a bit of history with the Lions since he did play quite a few years with the Vikings. And Algier only going to get about 6 on that one. 2nd and 4. Man in motion to Cousins' right. Defense breaking through, but he gets the throw off in time. Kyle Pitts was the closest in the territory. He got taken down. And they're not going to call a penalty on it. Cousins going to toss for McClellan. And McClellan going to be short of a first down by about 2 yards. So they got to go with the Younghoe Koo field goal. This will be a 40-yarder. Younghoe Koo, this is actually his 2nd stint in the NFL. That field goal goes through 10-3. Between the time, he actually spent some time in the very short-lived Alliance of American Football playing in Atlanta for the Legends. As Reynolds is going to take this from about a yard out. A yard keeping his own end zone, taken to about the 17-yard line. 1st and 10 for Detroit. Goff stepping back. Gonna throw to his left for Laporta. Laporta got the first down and fighting for some extra yards. He's down at the 35. 1st and 10. Man in motion for Detroit. Goff in shotgun formation. Goff gonna look and throw for Laporta, incomplete. So fun fact about the Falcons' last playoff win, that was actually against Jared Goff and his old team, the LA Rams. As Montgomery going to try and fight for yardage. That was about 2 years before, that was about a year before Goff went to the Super Bowl, his only Super Bowl appearance so far, but he could make another one with this Lions team, as this throw for Jamison Williams, he gets it to the 35 of the Falcons. So 1st and 10 for Detroit. Looking to tie up this game. Play action by Goff, rolling to his right. He's going to try and take it himself. He's got the first down, and down around the 21-yard line, maybe 22 probably. So 1st and 10, Lions. Toss for Gibbs. Gibbs going to run along the near side. He's got it past the red zone. Fumble the ball. Bouncing around into the hands of the Lions. Looked like that was a lineman that got it. Probably Penei Sewell. So 1st and 10 here for Gibbs to get. I was mistaken. It's actually also going to be a 1st and goal, so that's a double mistake by me. Ball on the 9. Hand off to Montgomery, who's running around past the middle, goes towards the near side. 2nd and goal at the 3. Goff dropping back, looking to throw this one, and he's going to make that. That's going to be incomplete. Not quite able to get a screen pass. It was out of bounds. 3rd and goal. Goff handing it off to Gibbs, and he's stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. So they got to go with another field goal by Jake Bates, who played for the Michigan Panthers of the UFL. This 22-yarder is good. So we got a 10-6 game. And Avery Williams will be back to return this. He'll take it from the 4-yard line. Gets up to the 20 and down at the 21. 1st and 10, Atlanta. Man in motion. Cousins dropping back. Gonna throw this one to his right for McClellan, and McClellan still on his feet. Look at this man go. He's gotten past the 50-yard line into Detroit territory, but he's actually at the 50-yard line. So 1st and 10. Cousins hands it off to Algier. Algier going to get only about 5 on that one, maybe 4. 2nd and 6 on the 44. 46 it looks like. Toss for Algier is incomplete. Had to get it off to somebody, so 3rd and 6. Cousins going to hand this off to Algier, and he's only going to get about a yard. And they're going to go with punting the ball. So this will be Bradley Pinion, who's in his 10th year. And Raymond's going to be in the end zone, so this will be a touchback. Very low-scoring game, but very interesting work by the defenses. Offenses provide plenty of yardage, that's for sure, as Gibbs only going to get about 3 yards. 2nd and 7. Goff tosses it for Gibbs, who runs along the near side. Gibbs still going as he got the first down and down around the 40. 1st and 10 for Detroit. Goff stepping back. Gonna try and get this one off over the middle for Sam Laporta. Incomplete. There were some black helmets in that area. You gotta be very careful with that one, Jared. 2nd and 10. Toss for Gibbs. Gibbs running along the near sideline. Still going. Breaking past some blockers as he gets taken to the 37, it looks like, of the Falcons. And Lions going to call their first timeout. 36 seconds to go. 1st and 10. Goff going to hand this off to Gibbs. And Gibbs going to fumble the ball. And it's picked up by A.J. Terrell of the Falcons. And he takes it into Detroit territory, breaking some tackles. Still going. Can he? Could he? He will. A scoop and score by the Falcons helps them to extend their lead. This will be an 11-point game if the extra point goes through by Younghoe Koo, and it will. So a 17-6 game. How about that from Atlanta? And that's going to do it for the first half of play. What an exciting one! And remember, the Falcons get the ball back to start halftime, so they get a chance to extend their lead. Next week, we begin the divisional round of the playoffs, and it all begins on Friday. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens in a rematch of Week 1 of this week and the AFC Championship game from last season head to Kansas City to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That and 3 more playoff games, all of it coming to you next week in the divisional round of the playoffs here on SVGN, the Sports Video Game Network. And so the Lions will kick it off to the Falcons. Williams will be back to return. Going to take it from about a yard deep in his own end zone. Williams gets to the 15, now to the 20, still going, 25-30. He's still on his feet, 35 down there. Just shy of the 36. First and 10 for Cousins and the Falcons, who ended off this half with a pretty good defensive play, even though Cousins wasn't a part of it. 2-yard run there. Second and 8, Cousins in shotgun formation. Gonna throw to his left, out of bounds. Had to get it off, he was under some pressure. So incomplete. Third and 8. Man in motion to Cousins' right. And the defense breaking through, but he gets it off just in time to be an incomplete. The only one in the area was Kyle Pitts, but he was in the area. So the Falcons will once again punt. Bradley Pinion, in his 10th year out of Clemson, the same college A.J. Terrell went to, actually. And Khalif Raymond going to take this to about the 20... Sorry, I apologize. To the 16, it looks like. Goff going to hand this off to Montgomery, and he's not going to get very far. Second and 10. The Lions trying to get the mistake that ended the first half out of their mind, as Gibbs going to run into the lineman, cuts back towards the near side, and only gained about 7 on that one. Third and 3 on the 23. Toss for Gibbs. He's running along the near sideline, and he got the first down easily. Down around the 33. So gained 10 on that run. Man in motion for Goff. Hands it off to Montgomery. And he's running along the near sideline. Fighting for yardage. Got 8. Well, we'll say 7. Because it'll be a second and 3. Goff in shotgun formation. Looking for somebody open. Gotta find someone. He's got plenty of time, but he's running out of it. Throw for Amon-Ra St. Brown. We haven't called his name yet today. And he's down around the 28. So a good throw there for Goff and the Lions. They're driving down the field, but they gotta get a score. They haven't gotten a touchdown. Goff gets us off just in time for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Avoiding tackles, and he's in for the touchdown. The Sun God. Praise the Sun. He's gonna get this one to get back the touchdown that the Lions gave up. And if this extra point goes through, we'll be back to a 4-point game, and it does go through. 17-13, Falcons have the lead. But the Lions are creeping back. Williams going to take this back from the 1-yard line. And he's going to get to the 15. And down around the 18. First and 10 for Atlanta. Cousins in shotgun formation. Going to try and run forward with this one. Taking it himself. Look at Kirk Cousins' move. Didn't get too far. Only got about 2 yards, but from shotgun formation, that's pretty bad. That's pretty big. Cousins looking and trying to throw to his right for Tyler Algier on a screen pass. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a little bit further back. Cousins going to hand this off to Algier. He's got to carry the running offense. And the Falcons not able to come up with a first down. They got to punt it. A 3 and out. And Raymond will be back to return this one. And he'll take it from the 20 of the Lions. Gets up to the 28, maybe 29-yard line. First and 10, Detroit. Man in motion for Goff. He's gonna play. No, he actually handed it off to David Montgomery, who gained only about a yard. Second and 9 on the 30. Goff going to hand this off to David Montgomery yet again. Montgomery running along the near sideline. And he gains 6. Third and 3. Ball on the 35. Hand off to Gibbs, who runs it up the gut, and he's got the first down past the 41. First and 10 Lions. Goff. Play action. rolling to his right. Gonna get this one off in time for a deep bomb to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Look at this man go! And the Lions take the lead for the first time today! How about that from Detroit? That's a big one. They definitely needed that score. And Bates' extra point kick is through to make it 20-17. Funnily enough, the last time that the Falcons were in the playoffs. Speaking of, the Falcons got to get this one. They're going to take it from the 7-yard line, breaking a tackle there. And Bates going to get taken down around the 25. I believe 2017 was also the last year that Kirk Cousins actually won a playoff game. I might be wrong on that. Throw from McClellan, and he gets it to about the 35. I believe that was the year of the Minneapolis Miracle as well. Cousins dropping back. Going to throw this one to his left for Darnell Mooney. Incomplete. 3rd and 1 with 38 seconds to go. Cousins going to hand this one off to Algier. I don't think he got far enough. He did not get far enough for the first down. And so it'll be a 4th and 1, and the Falcons are punting it with 25 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Raymond will be back to return. This will probably be the last thing we see in the 3rd quarter. Going to take it up to the 20, 25, and down around the 27. Lions have a 3-point lead going into the 4th quarter. Let's see if they can hold on to it, or if this defense can pull through for Atlanta. Montgomery going to get taken down behind the line for a loss of 2. 2nd and 12. Goff hands it off to Gibbs, who runs it up the gut, trying to zigzag, but doesn't get far enough. Only got about 5 on that one. 3rd and 7. Goff tosses for Gibbs. Gibbs running along the near side, taking down around the 40, 36, it looks like. Yes, 36. They're going to go with the punt. Jack Fox will punt it. And Avery Williams going to take this one. Nope, he's going to be in the end zone. So that's a touchback. 1st and 10, Atlanta. No motion. Cousins got to try and score here. He's got to get downfield to at least get a Younghoe Koo field goal to tie it up. Throw over the middle for Pitts. He's got into the Detroit territory and down at the 45. 1st and 10, Falcons. Man in motion for Atlanta. Cousins stepping back. Looking for somebody open. Throwing over the middle for Darnell Mooney, who's got this first down and more as he gets to the 15. A 1st down for Atlanta. Man in motion. Cousins stepping back. Looking and throwing to his left for Drake London for the touchdown! And so the Falcons take back this lead. That offense coming through when they need it. Younghoe Koo extra point on the way is good. 24-20. So the Lions will try to get it back after the work they did. They got to score again. This offense could do it, but against this defense, that's going to be difficult. As that's going to be up to the 23. 1st and 10 for Detroit. Goff tosses for Gibbs. Gibbs running along the near sideline. Still going as he gets to about the 32, it looks like. They needed to get to the 34. So, 2nd and 2. Goff with the play action rolling to his right. Gets this one off in time to avoid the tackle and the block. Throws for Amon-Ra St. Brown, but he's way too deep on that one. Incomplete. 3rd and 2. Goff hands it off to Gibbs, who's got the first down, running it up the gut and a little bit farther. He did 2, got about 4 or 5, actually. Goff in shotgun on this 1st and 10. Gonna throw this one to his left for Williams, incomplete. In triple coverage, too. So that could have been dangerous. But they trust Jameson Williams. And off to Dave Montgomery, who they also trust. Running along the near sideline, gets about 6. They're in their own territory, so and a field goal would do nothing for them anyway. They got to get a touchdown. Throw to left for Laporta. Laporta cuts back towards the middle for the first down in Atlanta territory. 1st and 10 Lions. Goff hands it off to Gibbs, who runs it up the gut, but doesn't get very far at all. Only got 1 yard. 2nd and 9. Goff stepping back. Looking for somebody open. Throwing to his left for Jameson Williams, who's got the first down and more. And he's down around the 23. Lions trying to waste some time so that way their defense can recover and try to hold off this Atlanta offense that might be coming back on the field if they score. David Montgomery going to get about 7 yards. And the Lions going to call their first timeout with just under 3 minutes to go. 2nd and 3. Goff looking for an open man. Going to throw this one to his left for Jameson Williams, and he's got the touchdown! The Lions take the lead yet again! This one has been back and forth in this second half. But the Falcons are not out of it yet. Kirk Cousins needs to be Captain Kirk and drive this Falcon ship enterprise down the field. Williams going to take this from the 7. Running up the middle, avoiding tackles down at the 30. Get some good field position for Kirk Cousins to start with. Man in motion. They just need to get within field goal range. Toss for McClellan. McClellan running along the far sideline, only going to get about 3 or 4. He broke a tackle there, so they'll say 4. First time out for the Falcons in the second half. Man in motion to Cousins' right. Toss for McClellan. McClellan going to not get very far. Loss of a yard. So the Falcons got to call their second timeout. 1:47 to go. Man in motion for Cousins. Got a drop back throw for McClellan yet again on a nice pass to the right. He's running along the near sideline, and he's into Detroit territory at about the 37. And the Falcons going to call their third and final timeout. Now they just need to wind down the clock or get a touchdown, but winding down the clock probably better. As Cousins going to get this one off from Mooney. Incomplete. Some silver helmets in the area, though, Kirk. You got to be careful. 2nd and 10. Cousins in shotgun. Going to try and run forward with this one. Taken down from behind by DJ Reader, though, for the sack. For the loss of 4. 3rd and 14. They got to get downfield for a better field position for Younghoe Koo. That's going to be incomplete. And they're going to go with the field goal here. This will be looks like a 59-yarder. Koo's kick on the way, and it's good! And this game is tied up at 27 apiece. So the Lions have 52 seconds. Probably less. Reynolds going to take this from about the 1. They just got to get in field goal range. Or score a touchdown. If they can do that. I know Dan Campbell's looking for that. 24 seconds to go. Hand off to Montgomery. Montgomery only going to get about 2. Well, he's fighting for some extra yardage. Well, they'll say 2 yards as the Lions going to call their second time out of the half. They got time for one more play. Maybe a deep bomb to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Goff with the play action. Rolling to his right. Throwing a deep bomb for Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's leaped up to grab it. Time's up, but he's still going. Can he score here? He will not. He's short by about 8 yards. So the Lions got to take this to overtime. The Lions going to call tails. It's heads. The Falcons get a chance to win this in OT. Avery Williams going to try and set up Kirk Cousins with something big. Now remember, this is playoff overtime. There's no such thing as a tie. It's whoever scores first wins. 1st and 10. Cousins in shotgun formation. Looking, waiting. Gonna throw it to his left for Drake London, who is way underneath where that ball was. So incomplete. 2nd and 10 for Atlanta. Cousins stepping back. Looking for somebody open. Gonna try and throw this one for Kyle Pitts to his right. He dives for it into Detroit territory down at the 45. But they still might want a little bit extra if they want to get into Younghoe Koo's field goal range. Offense giving some protection. Throw to the right for Darnell Mooney. Incomplete. So 2nd and 10. Man in motion for the Falcons. Cousins going to hand this one off to Tyler Algier. Algier going to get some good running. Breaks a tackle. Still got the first down. He's still going. He's into the red zone. And he's down around the 13. So the Falcons going to go for the field goal. Younghoe Koo needs to make a 31-yard chip shot field goal. Kick on the way. It's up. And it is good. And the Atlanta Falcons are moving on in the playoffs. How about that from the Falcons? 30-27 in a very surprisingly close game. Well, maybe not that surprising. It was very much offense versus defense, but the Falcons come through in the end, and they get the victory here today. And so taking a look at how the playoff structure looks now in the AFC and the NFC. We mentioned earlier that the Ravens will be heading to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. That will be our Friday game. The other game that we'll be having in the AFC will be the Cleveland Browns heading across the state to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. And meanwhile, looking into the NFC, in that playoff picture, with the victory by the Eagles, they will be taking on the Green Bay Packers, the NFC North champions. And meanwhile, the Falcons get to renew an old NFC West Division rivalry as they got to head across to take on the 49ers. So that is what we're going to be dealing with for next weekend, our divisional round weekend. Friday, we'll have Ravens and Chiefs. Saturday, we'll have Eagles and Packers. Sunday, we'll have Browns and Bengals, and Monday, we'll have Falcons and 49ers. For all of us here at SVGN, the Sports Video Game Network, I am your host, Joe, saying good night, everybody!